So many people have the argument, if you have nothing to hide, just show your ID and comply. But do you know where that information goes after you give it? You don't know how they write it down. There's a big difference between Mary crashed into the other car and Mary bumped into the other car. And you don't know how they categorize it to file it. You know they file information by address too? What if they get the address wrong? What if the information's not correct? This is why we always hear about SWAT teams being at the wrong address. And I bet none of these people thought anything about being forced to sew the Star of David on the front of their coats because they had nothing to hide. They weren't doing anything wrong, but they weren't doing anything wrong according to who? I bet they had nothing to hide when they were showing their papers to anybody who asked also. And this is why you should never show your identification unless lawfully asked. This channel's goal is to educate everybody about their constitutional rights. Today I'm going to give you examples of what to do if you're asked for your identification unlawfully. Here's our first example. In this first example, this police officer just cannot stand the fact that he cannot get this guy's name. And he's going to do whatever he has to do to get that guy's name and to prove he got that name. Watch.
Okay, so I'm being told I have to show ID.
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to explain to you why?
I'm setting up my yard sale for first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right. So
I have to be doing something illegal for you to get my ID.
Actually, you're in a public place.
Yes,
Okay?
exactly.
And it is currently 1:15 in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
It's public accessible area to on private property. Yeah.
Right. In a known high crime area.
Okay.
Okay. And all I'm doing is trying to make sure that you guys can be here.
Okay, then you can run my tags if you want, but
How do I know that those are your cars?
okay, either way, I'm not giving up my rights.
I'm not asking you to give up your rights.
Yeah, I'm not giving up my
I have a
ID.
legal justification to be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we're gonna have an issue because I'm not giving up my ID.
Okay. Central 41. Go ahead and start me another unit down here.
I've already got messed with like a few weeks ago here in the middle of the night.
Was it me that did it?
I don't know.
Okay. It wasn't.
Okay. Either way, I'm not
First
doing
time I've
anything
made
illegal.
contact with you.
If I'm not doing anything illegal, you don't have a right to harass me.
I'm not harassing you.
Oh, that's
I'm
what they
out
said
doing
that
my
other
job.
night when they stopped me, took my ID, held me up when I was just trying to get home that night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's harassment.
It's not harassing.
When you're holding me up when I'm doing nothing wrong.
How do I know that you're not doing anything wrong?
How do you
I'm
know?
the police. People
Okay.
lie to me all the time.
Okay,
You
so
are no
even if it's the
different than
middle of the
everybody
day and
else.
I'm out here, the same thing could be happening in the middle of the day. You don't have probable cause in the middle of the day or at nighttime.
I do have probable cause.
Yeah,
to be
if
out
it
here.
looks like I'm suspicious of doing something illegal. I'm not suspicious
I
of
know
doing
that you're
anything
not?
illegal.
Because
How do you know I
the law
am?
said that.
How do you know I am?
How do I don't know?
You got to have evidence or some kind of proof that I'm doing something
It's
illegal.
called reasonable suspicion.
Yes, okay, and what's your reasonable suspicion? Just because I'm
It's
out in the middle of the night?
1:15 in the morning.
Right,
In
okay.
a high crime area.
High crime area, come on now. What, Altus?
Storage buildings
Altus
get
is a high crime
broke
area?
into all the time.
Yes, I know. Oh, I know.
Okay.
There was a truck stolen from here a few weeks ago.
Okay.
You remember that report?
So now you're making my own point.
Oh, I'm making your point. Dude, shit gets stolen from everywhere all the time, day and night.
Right.
Okay. It's not illegal to be out at night. Just because you're out at night doesn't mean you can get ID'd at all times.
Man,
Bull.
I've got a reason to talk to you.
No, you don't.
wouldn't
Dude,
be here.
I'm pulling stuff out, laying stuff on tables for a yard sale in the morning. It's obvious
Okay.
what I'm doing. You should be able to move along, man.
I should be able to, but
All
I
right,
can't because
let's-
you won't comply with what I'm asking.
It ain't about complying. It's about giving up my rights and let me move along. Let me do what I'm doing.
You're just arguing to argue. I'm going to wait till some
Okay,
more
we're gonna
units
see
get
what
here,
happens.
and then we'll handle it.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay?
We'll see. What's your name, officer?
I'm Sergeant Trey Fulton.
Sergeant Trey Folden.
Yep.
Badge number?
41.
41. Thank you.
What officers fail to understand is they can get someone's identification lawfully with reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. Because if they have that, then they can legally detain somebody. And with that detainment, they can investigate somebody and look for probable cause. And if they get that, well, then they can get that identification, which could lead even to jail for people. Let's continue with our example of how to handle officers that ask for your ID unlawfully.
Is it a power trip or something?
Nope.
Okay, well,
Just doing my job.
yeah, but you should not step on people's rights.
I'm not stepping on that.
When people ain't doing
not
nothing
arguing
wrong,
with
you're
you,
stepping
man.
on my rights.
I'm not arguing.
You're holding me up. I should be getting shit done and going and putting yard sale signs out.
And I should be doing
So,
other
so,
things.
so when I'm driving around tonight putting yard sale signs out, I'm probably going to keep getting stopped. It's
There's a
ridiculous.
very high
If I'm
possibility
doing
that you
something
will be
illegal or
contacted.
suspicious, you should be able to stop me. If I'm not doing anything wrong and it's obvious what I'm doing,
I've explained to you why I'm here
okay.
and that we have
Okay.
reasonable suspicion to be doing something.
Reasonable suspicion. I'm at my storage units.
How You
Are
have
my
a
locks
disagreement?
cut? Is that lock cut? Is that other lock cut? Run
No,
my
those
tags.
locks are not
Run my
cut.
tags. They both go to the same
How do I
person.
know that those are your vehicles?
They both go to the same person. Oh, so one person let me
Okay.
borrow two of their vehicles. Okay.
She drove one.
Regardless, it doesn't matter, dude. You can make shit up out of thin air.
Listen,
Do you have evidence?
I'm not arguing with you.
You don't have. You
I've
don't.
asked for identification.
Okay.
And I can justify why I have.
And I'm going to go to jail for not showing ID.
Yeah.
That should be a secondary
comes down
offense.
to it.
Secondary offense.
Secondary offense of what?
Exactly. ID can't be a first offense. It has to be a secondary offense.
No.
Yes.
I have a reason to be here.
Okay, then that's fine. You could stop and see what I'm doing and say hi, goodbye.
And I tried that. And I also asked
You
for
don't have to. You can't ask for my ID, or you can.
I can.
I don't have to give it up.
Yes, you do.
Not if I'm not doing anything
Because I have
wrong.
reasonable
I'm at my
articulable
storage units, not doing anything wrong. I got tables set up
Listen,
out here. I'm setting
not-
up for
I'm
the
not
morning
arguing
for a
with you.
yard sale.
I'm not arguing with
Okay,
you.
I'm not arguing with you either. I'm standing up for my rights, and I'm gonna make a YouTube video out of this, just like thousands of other people do.
Right.
Right. And you'll learn that you can't just step on people's rights just because
I'm not
they're
stepping
out
on your
at 1
rights,
o'clock in the
man.
morning. Just because somebody's out at 1 o'clock in the morning doesn't mean you can.
I'm not stepping on your rights, buddy.
You can only get ID if you suspect them of a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. What crime?
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know.
So how does knowing the name of the guy stop the reasonable suspicion? It doesn't. So they get the name of him off the tags of his cars, and they still just don't get it.
All right, Peter, we got you identified. I'm good with that. Okay.
Pete did a great job of handling this officer who was asking for his ID unlawfully. But what's really dumb is that now that he knows his name, what does that change? Now let's go on to our next example of how to handle police officers that ask for your ID unlawfully.
What are you
This man was
stopping me
pulled
for?
over for driving with his windows down.
I have to let you know.
Well, you have to have a crime or infraction for me to identify myself, sir.
Who am I speaking with?
The driver of this car. What's your name and badge number?
Officer Schneider.
Officer Schneider. What is the nature of the stop?
I don't want to know why you're driving by me with the window down. I'm not sure what you're doing.
Is that a crime, sir? Is that illegal?
Suspicion. Okay.
Is it a crime? Is that a lawful stop because I drove with my window down?
I gave you the reason for the stop. Who am I speaking with?
The driver of this car.
Provide your identification.
For what? I didn't commit a crime.
Okay.
Driving with the window down is not unlawful. If that's all you got, you better get a supervisor out here.
Who am I speaking with?
You don't need to know that. I haven't broken a law.
Where are you headed to tonight?
That's none of your business.
It is some of my business.
It's not your business. It's irrelevant to you.
No, it's not.
Why is it not irrelevant?
This is the third time that I've seen you driving by. When you drive by with your window down and your hand hanging out, saying
Is that against the law?
it raises reasonable suspicion for me to stop you.
Suspicion is not a crime. You've stopped me.
Okay. So who am I speaking with? So I can.
You don't need to know that.
I do need to know that.
For what?
To know if you have a reason to be in this area now at this point in time.
Is it illegal to be in this area?
Okay. We've had crimes going on in this area, and I
Wonderful.
you're a suspicious person in this area.
Okay.
I want to know who I'm speaking with.
Okay. You don't need to know.
Are you the owner of this vehicle?
Unless I've broken a law, I don't have to identify. Now, am I free to leave?
No, you're not at this point, okay?
What
You-
crime are you stopping me for?
I advise you why you're stopped.
Suspicious is not a crime. When I've done something wrong, then you may stop and detain me.
Are you the owner of this vehicle?
I'm not answering any questions. You let me know when I'm free to go, and if I'm not, you get a supervisor out here who can explain to you that unless I've broken a law, you cannot detain me, and I do not have to identify.
Where are you headed to tonight?
That's none of your business. I already told you I'm not answering questions.
Where are you coming from?
Are you stupid? Obviously you are.
Why do you think that I'm stupid?
You let me know when I'm free to go.
Good. Where are you headed to tonight?
Do you always violate people's rights?
Not violating any rights at this time.
Absolutely you are.
What rights am I violating?
You're unlawfully detaining me. You're violating my Fourth Amendment right to travel freely.
So I'm not violating any rights.
I haven't committed a crime. Driving is not illegal. Driving with the window down is not illegal. Driving in this area is not illegal. So until you have a reason, kick rocks. Now, am I going to get that supervisor?
No, I don't find a reason to wake my supervisor up this time.
Well, you don't, but I do.
Then you can contact them.
Clearly, you have an issue with me driving.
That's my job to...
Your job to stop people unlawfully.
I'm not unlawfully stopping anybody.
You're preventing me from going to my destination.
Where is that? I'd be more than happy to let you continue on your destination.
All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Where's your destination?
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, you said goodbye. Am I being detained?
Never once said you were being detained.
Not being detained. All right, for the record, this officer is not detaining me. All right, goodbye.
Great example of how to handle the police if they're asking for your identification unlawfully, and a great example of why you should film the police. Let's go on to our next example. This gentleman was sitting in his parked vehicle when the police officer came up to his car and began to ask for his identification. He knows that he does not have to give it, and it's going to take the supervisor to pull the officer off because this officer was so adamant about
And do
getting
you
it.
suspect that I don't have a license?
Well, we got to make sure.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir, we do. If you're driving off, yes, sir.
No, yeah, you can't just pull people over for...
I'm not pulling you over. I'm making sure you have a driver's license for you to be able to drive off.
And what makes you suspect I don't have one?
We got to make sure. We got to double check. Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
Surely do.
Okay, do you have that with you?
Surely do.
All right, can I see that?
No.
You have to have insurance to drive off, yes, sir. And you have to have a driver's license to drive a vehicle, right? Does that make sense?
Surely does.
Okay, well, we have to make sure that's what's
and
going
when
on.
you have a reason to suspect
We
that
do.
I
Well,
don't.
we have a reason that you got to drive off. Because you're not supposed to be on the property.
And I'm
Yes, and
happy to
we
leave
have
the
to make
property.
sure you have insurance and a driver's license. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. It makes sense if you pull me over for an infraction.
That's not how this works, sir. You're not supposed to be on the property. You're going to have to drive off in your vehicle,
Right?
right? And for
And
us
that's
to let
and
you
that's
do,
the
and for us to-
trespass.
and for us-
I'm accepting being
hold
trespassed.
Hold on. For us to let you do that, we have to make sure you have a current driver's license and insurance for the vehicle.
What makes you suspect I don't have it?
Well, we have to make sure.
Am I under arrest?
No, you're not, sir.
Then, unless you've got me on an infraction of some kind, I don't have to identify.
Okay, where are you heading after this? So, where are you going?
Off the property, I guess.
Okay, well, what's your next move?
We'll head off the property.
Okay. Are you gonna go onto any public driveway, like any public road? Is that where you're going?
Eventually, sure.
Okay, then we got to make sure you got a driver's license.
And when you see me with an infraction on that public roadway, then you can pull me over.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna let you drive off if you don't have a driver's license, sir.
Is your supervisor about?
He's watching.
And what's he got to say?
He's got to get off property.
Thanks. You guys, you have a good day.
Yes, sir.
There you go. No reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. No identification for you. I hope y'all learned from these examples. Till next time.